Imagine for a moment that every major event in history, every war, every economic collapse, every political revolution, every celebrity scandal, every rise and fall of nations wasn't random. Imagine there was a hidden group operating behind the scenes, a group so powerful that governments answer to them, a group whose symbols appear in our money, our movies, our music, and our institutions. A group known as the Illuminati. For over 2 centuries, the Illuminati has been blamed for revolutions, assassinations, financial crises, and even the direction of modern culture itself. Some believe they're nothing more than a long-dead secret society. Others believe they never disappeared at all. Tonight we're diving deep into one of the most enduring conspiracies in human history. Who were the Illuminati? What did they actually believe? Why were they banned? And why do millions of people still believe they secretly control the world today? This is the Redacted Tapes. To understand the Illuminati, we need to travel back to the 1700s. Europe looked very different than it does today. Most countries were ruled by kings and queens. The Catholic Church held enormous influence over education, law, and politics. Questioning authority could ruin your reputation, your career, or even your life. Yet a new movement was spreading across Europe, a movement known as the Enlightenment. Thinkers such as Voltaire, Rousseau, John Locke, and Montesquieu argue that reason and science should guide society rather than tradition and religious authority. Ideas we take for granted today, freedom of speech, separation of church and state, human rights, democracy, these were radical concepts at the time. And among those inspired by these ideas, a professor named Adam Weishaupt. Adam Weishaupt was born in Bavaria in 1748. He grew up during a period where the Catholic Church exercised tremendous influence over daily life. As a professor at the University of Ingolstadt, he became increasingly frustrated with what he saw as corruption and intellectual control. He believed people should think independently, he believed knowledge should be free, and he believed societies should be governed by reason.
Illuminati. It was founded in 1776 in the south of Germany by a man named Adam Weishaupt. He formulated his plans in relation to the House of Rothschild in England, Germany, France, Italy. The Rothschild banking dynasty behind the governments of Europe hired Adam Weishaupt to formulate a plan for the world at that time to accomplish certain goals. That plan came to be known as the Illuminati plan. Adam Weishaupt himself, the founder of the Illuminati, was in fact a Jesuit priest.
On May 1st, 1776, Weishaupt founded a secret organization called the Order of the Illuminati. Their goal wasn't world domination, at least not according to historical records. Their goal was to spread Enlightenment ideals throughout Europe and undermine what they saw as oppressive institutions. The original members were mostly academics, lawyers, intellectuals, and students, but the group would soon become much more larger.
200 years ago, or during the last half of the 18th century, there were in Europe many secret societies with grandiose dreams of overthrowing all existing human institutions and of rising out of the resulting chaos as the all-powerful rulers of a new order of civilization. Of these groups, the Illuminati.
The Illuminati operated in secrecy. Members adopted code names. Weishaupt himself used the name Spartacus, after the famous slave who rebelled against Rome. Cities were given secret names. Even correspondence was encrypted. The organization was structured into ranks. New recruits were carefully observed before being trusted. As members advanced, they gained access to additional information and responsibilities.
Our church is at war. We are under attack from an old enemy, the Illuminati. Since the days of Galileo, this church has tried to slow the relentless march of progress, sometimes with misguided means. But science and religion are not enemies. We must defend ourselves. A brotherhood of imperfect, sinful souls who want nothing more than to be voices of compassion in a world spinning out of control.
This system created an aura of mystery that still fascinates people today. The secrecy wasn't necessarily because they were plotting world domination. Rather, they feared a government persecution. And as history would show, Those fears were justified.
The Illuminati is a different group. May have been part of, some of them may have been Freemasons, but Freemasonry is about the building of man as Solomon's temple. As Solomon builds his temple, this is how you should be building yourself. And as one of Solomon's temples, you are also building the world to be a better place. That's Freemasonry. Illuminati is a group of scientists that were against the church, and the church was against them. Some 17th century philosophers called themselves the illuminated ones, the ones who bring light into the world. They were scientists that were saying basically that the Bible is not the whole truth.
One of the most controversial decisions made by the Illuminati was to attempt to recruit members for the Masonic lodges. The Freemasons were already a secretive organization, with members among Europe's wealthy and influential classes. The Illuminati saw this as an opportunity. If they could recruit Freemasons, they could spread their ideas much faster. Soon nobles, government officials, judges, military officers, and intellectuals began joining the Illuminati. At its peak, estimators suggest the organization had between 1,500 to 2,500 members. That may not sound like much, but these weren't ordinary citizens. Many held positions of influence, and that's what worried authorities.
Not a bad group. The Illuminati has nothing to do with evil, nothing to do with all of that. The Illuminati is a group, well, the first group is a group of philosophers, a group of scholars that are not looking at reality based on the church. They're looking at it based on what we now call science. The other Illuminati is a group of bankers that start with the Rothschilds. And there were one Rothschild, and it was 5 sons. And each Rothschild controlled a part of Europe. One son was England, one son was France, one son was Spain, one son was Germany. And they started a banking system in Europe, the Rothschilds. It was a Jewish family. Started a banking conglomerate throughout Europe, lending money, making money on money. And their banking practice got so big that they began to finance governments.
By the early 1780s, rumors about the Illuminati were spreading across Bavaria. Government officials feared the organization was encouraging anti-monarchy sentiment. Some believed it threatened both the church and the state. In 1784, the Bavaria government outlawed all secret societies. The Illuminati became a primary target. Police raided homes. Documents were confiscated. Membership lists were seized. Private letters were published. By 1785, the organization had effectively collapsed. Adam Weishaupt fled Bavaria. The Illuminati, at least officially, ceased to exist. But the story was far from over. Just 4 years after the Illuminati was dismantled, the French Revolution exploded. Citizens stormed the Bastille. The monarchy collapsed. The old social order began to crumble. The timing was suspicious enough for some observers. Almost immediately, writers began claiming that the Illuminati had secretly engineered the revolution. One of the most influential was a former Jesuit priest named Augustin Barrel. In a series of books, Barrel argues that the secret societies, including the Illuminati, had orchestrated the destruction of the French monarchy. His claims spread throughout Europe, and although historians found little evidence supporting them, the idea took on a life of its own. For the first time, the Illuminati became associated with the concept of a hidden force controlling world events.
Story short, there are 13 families that control the resources and the entire planet. And they have their ancestry goes all the way back to Sumerian times. And where they changed into the Babylonians, they became the Khazars. They entered into Europe, where they merged with the Celtic remnants or the Atlantean refugees, which became the Merovingians. And then that, over the centuries, broke into 13 distinct families that controlled Europe at the time, and then now the entire planet.
And are there names for these families?
Yes, you have the Windsors, the Rothschilds, the Romanovs, the Sinclairs. There's a very wide range of Illuminati, but even more so is the range underneath the 13, which is the Committee of 300, which are 300 families that work very closely in association with the Illuminati to accomplish the goals.
No discussion of the Illuminati would be complete without talking about the symbols everybody recognizes. The all-seeing eye, an eye enclosed within a triangle, often shown above a pyramid. Today, many people associate the symbol with the Illuminati. But here's something many don't realize. The symbol existed long before the Illuminati. For centuries, Christians used the Eye of Providence as a symbol representing God, watching over humanity. It later appeared on the Great Seal of the United States. Yet conspiracy theorists argue the symbol's appearance on the dollar bill is proof of hidden influence. They point to the unfinished pyramid.
And that fiat funding money that we use isn't money at all. It's debt in the privately owned Federal Reserve.
That's absolutely correct. And since you brought up the Federal Reserve, let's look at the back of our dollar bill. It's also a Masonic symbol, but it's the symbol of the Illuminati, which controls all your money through the Federal Reserve, all the U.S. government money, and through other world banks, all the world's money. And this is basically the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, Satan, the devil. And what this inscription means here is announcing the birth of the satanic New World Order government.
The Latin phrases, the eye above it all, and ask a simple question: coincidence or a hidden message in plain sight? As the 20th century progressed, the Illuminati legend evolved. The theory was no longer about the 18th century secret society. Now it was about a global network of elites. According to believers, this hidden group influences world governments, international banks, media corporations, military alliances, technology companies, and intelligence agencies. Their alleged goal? To create a single world government, a new world order. Supporters of the theory often cite organizations such as the Bilderberg Meetings, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, central banks, wealthy dynastic families.
He formed something called the Trilateral Commission. The Trilateral Commission is some spooky stuff. People said it was something, the Illuminati, there's some mystery about it, people that ran the world. It was politicians, but David said most countries, the politicians get elected for 4 years or 8 years, separate from the royal families in England or in the Middle East. Someone's there for 4 years and then they're not there anymore. The most important people to have stability and consistency would be businessmen. So he formed this Trilateral Commission of businessmen and politicians from 3 major continents. So it was the North Americans, the Europeans, and the Asians.
Critics respond that these are real organizations with public records, and that claims linking them to an all-powerful Illuminati lack evidence. Still, the theory persists. By the internet age, the Illuminati had an interpopular culture. Suddenly, every triangle became a clue. Every eye symbol became suspicious. Every celebrity success story was scrutinized. Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Kanye West, Madonna, all have faced Illuminati accusations.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo! Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there?
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down.
Fans analyze music videos frame by frame, searching for hidden symbols. Some artists even play into the rumors. After all, controversy generates attention. Whether these symbols are secret messages or simply marketing schemes remains a matter of debate. Perhaps the most fascinating mystery isn't whether the Illuminati exist. It's why people continue to believe. Psychologists suggest humans are natural pattern seekers. We look for connections. We search for explanations. And when the world feels chaotic, the idea of a hidden group controlling events can provide a simple answer. Complex problems become easier to understand. Random events become intentional. Chaos becomes the design. The Illuminati becomes the ultimate explanation for uncertainty. The historical Illuminati was real. That's not a conspiracy. It's documented history. But modern Illuminati, the shadowy organization supposedly controlling the world from behind closed doors, remains unproven. No definite evidence has surfaced. No secret headquarters have been found. No verified documents have confirmed the existence of a global ruling cabal called the Illuminati. Yet the legend continues, and perhaps that's the true power of the Illuminati. Not that it exists, but that people believe it might, because in a world full with unanswered questions, the idea of a hidden puppet masters lurking in the shadows is a mystery that refuses to die. But that's just the beginning, because next time we're diving into some of the most shocking Illuminati-related theories ever proposed. From secret bloodlines to occult symbolism, claims involving world leaders, ancient societies, and the alleged New World Order. Until then, keep questioning, keep searching, and if you enjoyed this episode of the Redacted Tapes, be sure to follow, share, and join us next time as we continue to explore the paranormal, the unexplained, and the stories hidden between fact and mystery. This has been Redacted Tapes.